We are a river city, a bold city, the First Coast, a place to create and to belong. Here, the sun shines a little brighter, and so do the people. We share a love for our region, a pride for JAX, and a passion for the beautiful game, dedicated to giving everyone a sporting chance. Together, we will elevate soccer and sport in our community by lifting every voice. We are Sporting Club Jacksonville. We are Sporting JAX.
Hello and welcome into the Sporting JAX Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, we'll look at historic doubleheader coming up on Saturday for both the men and the women who will take the pitch at Hodges Stadium. We'll also meet new centerback Ryan Edwards, a player head coach Liam Fox knows well from his days in Scotland. And we'll celebrate a local high school player being named Player of the Year. But let's start with last Saturday's visit to Pittsburgh. Of all the places to play, going to the defending champs for their home opener, well, we knew it'd be a challenge, and indeed it was. Sporting JAX showed grit and resilience as they ventured to the land of Three Rivers. To Pittsburgh we go. And in the early stages, Pittsburgh got things going. Just the 7th minute when Albert Dequa, in his second tour of duty with the club, scores to give the home team a 1-0 lead, riding a wave of emotion and momentum after they hung the championship banner and brought out the championship trophy. 27th minute, Sam Bassett. Oh, what a strike here. 2-0, Pittsburgh with the lead at halftime. After a penalty was scored by Pittsburgh to make it 3-0, Sporting JAX fought back. Off a corner, Jordan Rossiter recycles one and it goes off Mohamed Traore. Mo with the goal, it's 3-1. Just 4 minutes later, Harvey Neville setting up Emil Jaskalainen, and Jaskalainen with his first goal as a member of Sporting JAX. More to come for certain. Sporting JAX pulling to within one in the 62nd minute, but that's as close as they would get. Sporting JAX falls at the defending champs by the final of 3-2.
They're an established club. They've got a really deep roster. They've got some very good players. So again, repeat myself, but we're fully respectful of them. But we can also think we can cause them problems. And our focus is always on us. It's always on us. We can respect what the opposition has and the attributes that they have, but we need to make sure that we're continuing to improve and looking towards that first victory, hopefully.
I think we've just got to carry on working hard on the pitch, training daily. I think, there's been some real good stuff in the games. We haven't quite had that result we want yet, but I think there's a lot of early good signs that, hopefully things will click soon and, we'll get that first win and hopefully that comes in home on Saturday. No, definitely. Hopefully the women win on Saturday. They've been absolutely flying, haven't they, in the league? So hopefully they carry on the good form. They get the win, and then we're making a double win for the Sporting JAX.
All right, let's look at the match stats from the matchup against Pittsburgh. And you see Sporting JAX had the best of possession. They had some opportunities. Actually had more shots on target than the home team, and more shots in general. Just dug themselves too deep a hole. Now they'll look forward to taking on Tampa Bay Rowdies, who come in unbeaten and untied. We now welcome in Corey Herzog. Corey, what have you seen from the team so far through the first 4 games that stands out to you?
From the first 4 matches, you really see that they can play with the best of the best, but they need to put 90 minutes together. They keep playing 20 minutes. Last game, a little bit more, 45, 50 minutes. You need to get a whole 90 minutes in them, and they will win games in this league.
All right, obviously a tough matchup coming up against Tampa Bay this weekend. What do you expect to see on Saturday?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of energy. I think a lot of goals coming on Saturday. Tampa's one of those teams that gets at you, presses, gets balls in behind. So it'll be very interesting with how many goals we have given up, how they're going to lock that and stop that down.
All right, let's take a look at the standings early on in the USL Championship season. Eastern Conference, you have 2 teams unbeaten and untied at the top of the table. 2 of the teams we expect to be among the best in the league this year, Lou City and Tampa Bay. And you see Sporting JAX there at 11th, but a win, and suddenly you can vault way up the table in a hurry. It's very early on. Sporting JAX looking for that first victory of the season. We'll see if they can get it on Saturday against Tampa. In the West, nobody unbeaten, untied, but San Antonio holding the lead. 10 points at the top of the table with Orange County and El Paso 2 and 3. Again, very early in the season. It'll be all the way through till the end of October before we have a good feel for the postseason. All right, speaking of the women, they carried a 4-match winning streak into last weekend's matchup against Spokane. Not only had the women not lost in that stretch, they'd not conceded a goal in those 4 matches. They had to contend with the Zephyr and some gusty winds as well. To Hodges Stadium we go, and Sporting JAX trying to get things going early, but Spokane on the front foot through the first 20 minutes in large part. But an opportunity here for Spokane, and Felicia Knox with a little half touch, able to get it past Caitlin Parks. First goal conceded in 390 minutes for Sporting JAX, 1-0 Spokane. But it didn't take long for Sporting JAX to fight back. Look at him here, get it to Ashlyn Puerta. Puerta turns, shot is deflected, but put in off the hip of Sophia Bowman. Second goal as many matches for Bowman, and her 4th goal of the season, and that's all the scoring we had. 1-1 the final, a draw for Sporting JAX. First time in 5 games they did not come away with 3 points, but still more to contend with as the playoffs approach.
We went into the game not expecting but hoping and knowing that we could produce a performance that got us 3 points, but obviously it didn't turn out that way. And I mean, that's okay. We're going to have a few bumps in the road. That doesn't change our momentum per se or our outlook on the season. We're just going to keep going and hopefully start that winning streak up again this weekend.
Amazing for the fan base. I mean, you get 2 for 1. You know, you get to watch both teams in one day. A real excitement for the community to be able to see both teams. One's obviously just getting going and one's kind of on the tail end of the season. So, you know, we're in different places right now in terms of where we are in the season, but still lots of excitement for the fan base.
I think teams have come up with different strategies to play us. I think that's one of the interesting things to see as we've risen to the top. The way that their formations, the way that they decide to come out to play, I think is different now that we're kind of top of the table. So I think that's been an interesting challenge to face.
All right, speaking of the stats, look at these possession numbers. Nearly 72% in the game for Sporting JAX. Oh, somehow Spokane able to make their 1 goal hold up. Sporting JAX had some opportunities on corners, had a bunch of shots, but just could not find that final touch, that one last moment. They had some chances. A draw is not bad, but boy, it kind of feels like it the way they've been going. 5 straight unbeaten, though, for Sporting JAX. Let's take a look at the table in the Gamebird Super League. Standings presented by Price.com. Sporting JAX atop the table, but the margin now is just 1 point after Lexington's win on Wednesday. Sporting JAX does have a game in hand on both Lexington and Carolina. Again, remember, the top 4 will qualify for the playoffs. 28 matches in the regular season, so you can see what they have remaining, just 7, including 6 after today's matchup with Brooklyn FC. We now welcome in Becky Burley. Becky, I guess we are at the point of the season where a draw feels like a loss for the women.
Yeah, and probably for Spokane, a draw feels like a win, because to travel that far to get a point against the #1 team in the league, they've got to be pretty happy with that. But on the other side, for Sporting JAX, you know, it's great that your standards are set so high that a draw is not satisfying. I think it's less about the outcome and more about the way that they played. And a little bit of a slow start, conceded in the 18th minute, what you might consider a soft goal, which they haven't really done in a really long time. So it's more about like shoring up some of those things.
Well, the table's still tight with Lexington right there, as we saw, but it's tough to envision a scenario where Jacksonville isn't hosting at least one playoff game as a top 2 seed.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, as a coach, I would be like, we're not looking forward. But as someone who's talking about it with fans, like, I think it is feasible to say, like, let's look at where this likely lands. And I think you're absolutely right.
All right, Sporting JAX will see Brooklyn twice in the last 7 matches. What can we expect in this game?
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually might be a good thing because I think Sporting JAX wanting to get back to their identity, and not that they were away from it, but the conditions the other night just did not make it easy to be a possession-oriented team when you've got, wind gusts of 40 miles an hour pretty much the entire game. So I think that it'll be a good game for them to assert themselves in their identity again. I also think there's still some, positional things to be worked out. I would guess that there were some players that they would have liked to have gotten in that game. And for example, like Parker Roberts probably could use some minutes right now, but you wouldn't want to necessarily risk an injured player coming into those conditions, or a player coming off injury, I should say. But I think also, Lester needs more reps as a higher player, playing higher up the field. You've got Illig, who's still getting reps with the people that she's surrounded with. So I think there's more to continue to build on. And I think Brooklyn provides the perfect opportunity for that.
Becky, thank you. The Sporting JAX women are making a push to the playoffs, and you can be a part of it. The Push to the Playoffs bundle includes tickets to all the remaining home games, including one more rematch with Brooklyn FC and a matchup with Lexington, the second-place team coming into the weekend. Get your postseason pack today by calling 904-863-KICK or by logging on to sportingjax.com. Prorated season tickets are on sale now for the Sporting JAX men's team. You get the rest of the home games, including at least 2 games in the Prinks Tires USL Cup and all of the action from the USL Championship. Call 904-863-KICK or visit sportingjax.com. Still to come, he's reunited with head coach Liam Fox. What to expect from centerback Ryan Edwards? That's next as the Sporting JAX report rolls on. Every game of the Gainbridge Super League can be streaming on Peacock. Home games can be seen on Channel 4, CW17, or right here on the stations of First Coast News. And all games in the USL Championship can be seen streaming on ESPN Plus or CBS Golazo. Those that are not nationally broadcast on CBS, CBS Sports Network, and ESPN2. All of Sporting JAX home games in the USL Championship can be seen on Channel 4 or CW17. Time now for our Ascension St. Vincent's player feature. And this week, Emerson, we're looking at a player who certainly has a lot of history with head coach Liam Fox.
He sure does. And Sporting JAX has brought in players with experience from all over the world. And one of those players is defender Ryan Edwards, a veteran leader who's already taken on a big role with this expansion team. In England, soccer is woven into everyday life. And that's where Sporting JAX defender Ryan Edwards first fell in love with the game.
I grew up in the city of Liverpool in the UK, England. I've been there my whole life, really, since birth. So.
During his career, Edwards played in England, Scotland, and India, but it was in Scotland with Dundee United where he became captain and helped lead the club to a 4th-place finish in European competition.
And we managed actually to finish 4th that year, which is qualifying for the European competitions, Europa Conference League, Europa League, stuff like that. So we finished 4th, had a great season. And we got the rewards at the end of it to go and play in Europe, which is all what every player wants to do.
That success came under head coach Liam Fox, a familiar face now leading Sporting JAX, and the reunion brought Edwards to Jacksonville at just the right time.
We've always kept in touch, and when this opportunity came, it worked quite well timing-wise. As I was leaving my old club back in Scotland, this was just getting started, so it worked out quite well, yeah, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Now wearing the captain's armband once again, Edwards is focused on setting the standard for a young team still building its identity.
We want to try and lead by example and performing well and having standards as well where younger players can look up to. So it's always something I've took pride in, and yeah, it's a role I love to have.
As Sporting JAX continues its inaugural season, Edwards says his focus is simple: help this team grow and start climbing the standings.
Committed to the job and trying to impress the club, the fans, and ultimately win games to try and get us climbing the table.
Edwards wore the captain's armband last weekend in Pittsburgh and says building chemistry will be key as Sporting JAX continues its inaugural season.
Well, leadership, certainly. You talk about a lot of new players coming in. A guy who knows how the coach communicates is big, and I think he's going to be a big contributor on that back line. Emerson, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, this weekend's doubleheader was a first, but it's not the last. The next time both the men and the women will play at home will come on April the 25th when the women take on Lexington SC. That'll be a big one. And the men face Miami FC in the Prinks Tires USL Cup. For tickets, head to sportingjax.com or call 904-863-KICK. Coming up, he had one of the best seasons you'll see. We meet the State 6A Boys Soccer Player of the Year. That's next, as the Sporting JAX report continues. As you get set to make plans to come out to see Sporting JAX play at Hodges Stadium, make sure you have your Sporting JAX merch. Go to sportingjax.com/shop to pick out all of your favorite merchandise to support your pro soccer team. It is time now for the VyStar Youth Soccer Spotlight. For the last month, we've been celebrating Final Four teams. Now we turn our attention to individual award winners and a guy who scored Emerson 33 goals and added 14 assists in his senior year.
Yeah, quite the story this week. Mandarin capped off a memorable season with one of its own earning the state's top honor. Senior Robert Calazans named 6A Player of the Year. For Robert Calazans, the recognition is special, but it didn't come alone. The Mandarin senior credits his teammates and coaches for pushing him every step of the way, turning what could have been an individual accolade into a full team achievement. In his final season, Calazans helped lead a group build on chemistry, something he says made all the difference. From time spent together off the field to a locked-in mentality once the whistle blew, Mandarin played with connection that fueled their success. Even as the season came to an end short of their ultimate goal, Calazans says it was one he'll never forget.
A lot to me, like obviously it wasn't just all me, you know, like this was like a team thing. Like I had done it with all my teammates and my coaches, the people who pushed me to like get that award. But it means something special to me because like this season will forever be memorable to me because like it's your last season. You'll always be like you'll never forget it. And I obviously hurts a little bit, like we didn't get the cherry on top of the win, but it still like means a lot to me. And most of us, like we spend so much time like off the field together, and that builds so much connection like with the team, because like you can't really like play with a team that has like no chemistry. You know, the chemistry is what makes the team. And I would say that helped us out a lot. And like I would say just like our mentality too, like when we switch on, like when we're in the field, we switch on and we're automatically like locked in and ready to go at whoever we're playing against, because sometimes in practice, like, yeah, you can have a little laugh and stuff, but you still got to train hard. But when we go to the field, we actually like lock in and like we're ready.
And Calazans tells me the journey's not over just yet. He plans to announce his collegiate commitment in the next couple weeks. I tried to get it out of him, but he told me he couldn't tell me.
Not just yet, huh? Well, it's still to come. I love that thought, though, of have a laugh, then lock in, and go to work. You'll go far with that kind of philosophy. Emerson, thanks so much. For more on Sporting JAX in the world of soccer, join me every Tuesday night at 6 on 1010XL when I'm joined by the likes of Mark Warburton, Stacey Balaam, Liam Fox, and Sporting JAX players. It's the Sporting JAX Coaches Show, presented by Honda of the Avenues. You can listen on air at 1010 AM, online or on demand at 1010XL.com. And for behind-the-scenes conversations about Sporting JAX, join Emerson, Tony Allegretti, and me on the Sporting Pod. You can subscribe wherever you find your favorite podcasts. A new episode drops each week. Still to come, we'll take a closer look at Sporting JAX in the community and a big spotlight being shown on one of the team's top players. That's next as the Sporting JAX report rolls on. Now that we have two seasons going on at the same time, it can be hard to keep up to date with everything that's going on with both the Sporting JAX men's team in the USL Championship and the women's team in the Gainbridge Super League. But fear not, you can tune in every weekend to the Sporting JAX report. Coming up next week, it'll be noon on Saturday ahead of Premier League coverage on NBC 12. You can also catch us on the Sporting JAX YouTube channel. Time now for our Community Spotlight presented by Honda of the Avenues. The Gainbridge Super League is producing features on select players throughout the league. A month ago or so, a film crew was in Jacksonville to get to know forward Paige Kenton a little bit better. And this week, the episode dropped on the USL YouTube channel and the league's social media platforms. Here's a preview of the look at Paige Kenton. Here's Paige Kenton.
She's a warrior. She's resilient.
A fourth consecutive game with a goal
it's frightening, to be honest.
I think I have 6 goals and 6 assists right now.
She's very hard working. I think you can see that in the way she plays.
She's an honors neuroscience student.
Oh, 2 for 2, Paige!
It's like a perfect example of someone who has really blossomed in this league.
We do the daily 10s every morning.
Today we have a trivia that is all about Sporting JAX. How well do you know the people you see every day?
I don't think we expected to be sitting in this position. I think the Gainbridge Super League and Sporting JAX are really special in what they're doing for women's soccer here in the United States.
Yep, there's Paige Kenton. By the way, she's 1 assist away from setting a new league record for most assists in a single season. Maybe she'll get it this weekend. If your child is excited about playing soccer, register them now for the competitive season in the Sporting JAX Soccer Academy. From U18 to U8 to U19, teams are forming now. The season runs August through May with the playoffs to follow. This is a great opportunity to get in that pathway to the pros. Go to sportingjaxacademy.com to register your player now. And remember, we will have another doubleheader coming to you on April 25th when the women face off against Lexington. That's a battle likely to be for the top of the table and a key one as the season heads to the playoffs. That game will be followed by the men playing Miami FC in the group stage of the Prince Tires USL Cup. Both games can be seen on Channel 4. The women's game will be streaming on Peacock, the men's game streaming on ESPN+, and tickets are available for both games by calling 904-863-KICK or by going to sportingjax.com. Be sure to follow us on social media for all things Sporting JAX on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Sporting JAX is everywhere. And keep checking up on the World Cup countdown clock. Just 70 days away. That's 10 weeks, folks, till the eyes of the world turn to the United States, Canada, and Mexico for the biggest sporting event on the planet. Thanks for watching the Sporting JAX Report. We'll see you next time.